Okay, I have a question for you, whoever you are, um, listening to this, especially if you're someone who plays games, or maybe if you don't play games, even if you have like opinions on them or whatever, right? But the question I want to ask is, would you rather buy a game, um, that doesn't have the tag of early access? Essentially, they put out a game for you to buy, and they update it frequently until pretty much everything that should have been in the game is in the game. Would you rather play that game? Um, would you rather play that game, or would you rather play an early access game that is going to be updated frequently until it's finished? Pretty much. I guess the core of it is both games are essentially going to be updated the same exact way. The difference is that one has a tag of early access and the other one doesn't. You know, and both games are free, so you're not paying for either. You're not paying for either, and they're updating it somewhat constantly, pretty much. You know, that was a very all over the place type of question, but yeah, it's because right now I'm watching a GameRix video, and dude's talking about how there's this game in early access right now. Um, like you can play it. It's an early access, but it's not finished, obviously, because it's an early access, meaning they're updating it until it's finished. But realistically, a game. I mean, I don't know. Like, well, I don't know. I want to say like a game is technically never finished if you're gonna keep updating it. You know, but personally, I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It seems a little odd. It feels akin to like the purity thing in comics. Oh, I don't like this new character because he's not the old one that I grew up with. That I grew up with. But in terms of video games, it's, well, you should release a full game instead of a partial game and update it. You shouldn't put a game out and let people play it in early access. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, dude. Like realistically, once I finish this, what I'm doing now, in like a month or 2 months, however long this takes, um, it's going to be free. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'm even gonna put in the early access. It's just going to you're just gonna be able to play a free game that I'm gonna be able to update. That I'm gonna update through Steam. But there's going to be essentially there are benefits for you playing it earlier than other people. You know what I mean? Think of it in terms of like just money, or I guess investments, pretty much. If you get in the game on day one, and let's say theoretically, right, you get a special type of coin for every day that you go into the game. You know what I mean? You get a coin, and essentially that coin is further devalued, or 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 you get a less valuable coin for every other day, basically. You know what I mean? Or for every following day. So let's say like the first day it's released and you get a $1 million coin, or 1 million, I don't know, gold coin. The next day you get on, now it's uh 999 999,000. The next day now it's 989,000. Or yeah, then the next day it's 979,000. The next day it's 969,000. You know what I mean? So the point is that the longer you're in, or the more, yeah, the earlier you get in, the more value you get out of it when it's released. You know what I mean? And the point would be, once the game's released, those coins stop being given out, pretty much. You know what I mean? You know? And then in the beginning, since I don't really know how to code and I don't really know how to truly implement stuff beyond like the most basic shit I can think of, it would be simple. Like, everyone would just get a coin pretty much. And then once I find people that can actually code shit, then they can help me implement an actual in-game currency thing. And then you essentially just convert everyone's coins they already have into into basically a more valuable version of a coin that they would that you basically can't buy. And pretty much you would have to have been there for the early access thing, and it equals, or like in the beginning basically, and it equals like 10,000 times one coin that you buy, pretty much. You know what I mean? You know? So essentially, compared to everyone else, they're technically rich, you know? But it's like it would be the benefit of you joining the whole thing earlier, you know what I mean? All I know is I can't work a retail job the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And ultimately, the goal is work this job, gain enough money to be able to have food and pay for where I'm living, and on my off time, make this game, pretty much, you know? And essentially use the money from this game to buy a car, you know, and then eventually get rid of the one I currently have, because it's ultimately just not worth it, you know, to fix this one rather than just getting a new one. By new, I mean auction car that's used, same make and model, so that I don't have to deal with learning how to deal with a new car. Um, yeah, then I can do DoorDash, and then I can actually have money to find someone to help me with the rest of this. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening.